Hey, what up? This is Don Hart Jr., and you listen to the Trust Your Heart podcast. Today is our very first episode, and by ours, I mean mine's. Um, I was struggling to try to figure out what I wanted to talk about, like what was going to be my specific need, who is my target audience, things of that nature. Because anybody tell you, you really probably should establish that before you just up and do something. But life kind of happened, today. And I just figured, with so much shit going on, and there's so much going on with me in just everyday life, we should just talk about that. We should just talk about what it's like to be, well, I'm black and Mexican. I'm 37 years old. I don't have any children. I have 2 degrees. I feel like I'm, a pretty decent looking guy. And that's true. Right? That's just how I feel, right? And I go through life pretty much. How does that look now? Because it's so far from what used to be, the norm. There's a lot of guys like me who are, I don't want to say particularly successful. I wouldn't consider myself successful per se, but I'm good. That's where I'm at. I'm good. You know, um, my money's okay. Could it be better? Definitely could be better. Definitely could be better. You know, but I've checked off a couple boxes. Like I said, I went to law school. That was cool. I went to a, prestigious HBCU. We can get into that later. Actually, we might get into that today. Um, I did some things along the way. I didn't have any kids. I didn't get married. I'm not divorced. Um, and for all, I don't want to say normal because that's this. I feel like that's a word that triggers people now. I don't know, but I did things. I wasn't a fucking lame. Let's just say that I wasn't a fucking lame. I'm not a lame, right? So I just went through things normally, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Um, being who I am, in that range, like what do you do? You know, um, when you're approaching 40, I mean, it's approaching, um, but you're still kind of out there, like I'm in the streets. But in the streets for me doesn't mean like in the streets like someone in their 20s. In the streets for me means shit. Like I went out one night this week, and then I was home by like by like 1:15, 1:30, and I went to work the next day, which is remote. I work from the crib. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things to talk about in that category, and straight just getting to it, I guess. Um, you know, I had a pregnancy scare today. I had a fucking pregnancy scare. Are you serious? Like things like that don't tend to happen to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because that happens when you're younger. You do shit certain ways, and things happen, and blah 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 blah. Um, but that happened. I was like, what? But the young me would have been like tripping, like, oh my god, I can't believe this, and it really did. It made me like take a step back. I was like, oh shit, I know, just there ain't no fucking way. Like, I know you fucking lying, dog. You know, I know, I know you're fucking lying. You gotta be fucking lying. Why? What? Whatever. Neither here nor there, right? But that's what kind of got me to this point where it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna talk about. Shit happens on the regular, and it's just my day to day life that is noteworthy. Or it's like, God damn, is anybody else doing, I don't want to say noteworthy per se, but is anybody else like going through this shit? Is this normal? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? Again, when you're, you know, a black Mexican single man, who went to an HBCU with no kids, living in Atlanta, what do you do? And these, I guess, are my escapades. Take a break real quick. This is Don Hart. You can follow me on IG at Trust Your Heart, TrustYourHart. You can follow the podcast and make sure you do at Sunday.we.rest. You can follow that on TikTok and Instagram, SundayWe.rest. Without further ado, let's get back to our episode. Cool. All right. So we're back. Donald Hart, Trust Your Heart podcast. And I think I left with a pregnancy scare and how that was just like the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard at this point or stage of my life. Turns out we're good. We're good. You know what I'm saying? I think Shotty just out there playing. I don't know what the fuck she got going on. She cool, but yeah. I just tell you, yeah. I was like, I done had this dream. I didn't two dreams in a row or two nights in a row where I was pregnant. And she's talking about it. I was like, man, what? And I know because it wasn't too long ago. And I'm like, oh shit. Like what? That's what I texted her. I was like, LOL dot huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and we kind of talked about it. Everything's cool, everything's smooth. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, sidebars here, but one of them is that I just handle things completely different now. Um, again, when I was younger, I would have handled that in a bad way. I mean, I don't want to say what things are good and bad and everything, but some things are just legit not the move. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't operate in that way. Um, and you learn as you go or, go forward and get older and grow and whatever. Um, but yeah, what I'm saying? I've had that situation happen to me before when I was in my mid to early 20s, and I handled it completely different. It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I don't want to particularly be quote unquote vulnerable, but I do want to establish like a rapport, like where I'm being honest with everybody about everything, and not really holding much back. So story time. Um, I was with this one girl, pretty much through college. We were together, this and that. After college, we were still together, 5, 6 years, something like that. She ends up going to grad school in another state. Obviously, we break up, right? And that's probably just a whole nother thing. But we break up. So I start messing with this other girl, but I'm still fucked up about Shawty. You know what I'm saying? The whole time I'm just fucked up about her for like a year. I'm just fucked up about it. Please, baby, please, all that shit. And so, but I got this other girl who I have been fucking with before her, but we never really like kicked it like that. And so, when the main one left, broke up, well, shit, me and her really got it, going, and we were very compatible. Sexual compatibility is definitely a thing. You know what I'm saying? And me and her were compatible as fuck. Um, you know, shout out to her. She knows who she is. Um, but that's what we was doing. We was just fucking for like a year, basically, right? And everything was love, and she ended up getting pregnant. Um, and when she told me, because it's why things like this tend not to happen to me anymore, because I knew I did it when I was younger. I knew I did it. Then like she she drops off the pregnancy test like a couple weeks later, like in front of my door of my apartment, right? And I was like, you didn't have to do that in a fucking envelope. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I knew I did that. Well, how do I know I did that? Cause I was like, shit, you know, hey, look, I'm finna bust in you. I didn't say it like that, but that's more or less what I was saying. Um, but it was very clear, and I was like, just heat of the moment type shit. Cause me and her used to really go at it, and shit used to be like fire. And so, we oh my god, with her, we gone a while, and it'd be hot and it'd be candles and shit. She had this nice little condo over downtown Atlanta, so you could open up the sliding glass door all the way. We used to open that motherfucker up. She had like these fucking what are those drapes or I don't know curtains, but they were like linen and the wind would be blowing. It was like a fucking music video, right? And so it's like, what I'm saying, midnight candles and shit, the wind's blowing, this and that. It's hot in that motherfucker in the middle of the summer. Yeah, baby, can I bust on you? She's like, yeah, just do it and don't stop, this and that. Okay, bet. Bang. Done. Finished. I did it, you know? And so young niggas being young niggas, 'cause she was young too, like 24. I was like 25. That's young if you're listening. It's fucking baby shit. Like you're a baby. It's all good. But take that as a compliment. Every person over 30 would love to be 24, 25 again for the most part, I think. Um, just to redo some shit. But you know, either way, so I knew I did it. Like I knew it. It was a fucking certainty. I don't miss. You know what I'm saying? Um, But yeah, so she gets pregnant. She does what she does, and what happened was the main girl. So I do that like May 1st, right? May 14th, she drops off the fucking pregnancy test. May 16th, the main girl who I'm tripping about decides she's coming back to Atlanta, right? Wants to try this shit again. And I'm all worked up about Shawty. I was like, oh no, I can't tell the main girl I just got Shawty pregnant. Granted, we've been broke up for a fucking year. You know what I'm saying? So I really went hard at the second girl, you know, passion girl. I was like, look, we can't have this in so many words. Ain't no fucking way. And I'm not particularly proud of that. I'm not particularly proud of that. I'm not proud of that. It's a fucked up thing to do how I did it. Because it went from night and day. Me and her were actually really cool. We were friends. If she watches this, still my nigga. But I switched on her. Oh, like just bang. And yeah, it's like, look, nah, don't do this. You know what I'm saying? This and that. And she ended up not. And yeah. And how are we talking about that? Well, we're talking about pregnancy scares. How I am today. How did I handle a possible scenario, a possible situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't trip. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta, it is what it is. I told her, look, hey, and I hope I'm looking dead in the camera with this shit. I was like, I'm 1,000% not ready to have any little children. Verbatim is what I said. And I can't stress that enough. You know, literally what I text. I'll show it. Well, I'm not gonna do that, but yeah, that's what, I DM'd her. Yeah, no, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. And so just handling shit different and growing and becoming better is I'm glad I did that. But I say all that to say, I think there's just plenty to talk about just how, we should just take. I think I'm gonna cut all that shit. We just take a break right now. This is Don Hart. You can follow me on IG at Trust Your Heart, TrustYourHart. You can follow the podcast and make sure you do at Sunday.we.rest. You can follow that on TikTok and Instagram, SundayWe.rest. Without further ado, let's get back to our episode. All right. So I feel like this has been a pretty good first episode. I got to introduce myself. You guys got to see how I look at things, how I talk, my style. Hopefully it's for you. I would like it to be for you. um, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Trust Your Heart. If you do, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for listening. I'm going to drop an episode every week. I'd like to do more, but, I think once a week is fine right now, just to make sure I deliver something that's solid. I don't want to be on here just talking to talk, even though, no, I don't want to do that. But anyway, it's Don Hart. I appreciate you guys for listening. Trust Your Heart podcast. I look forward to dropping the next one next week, and I hope you stay tuned and watch. Thank you.